Author Real Talk, when it comes to editing your novel, you need to be doing this as quickly as possible in a condensed period of time of just a couple of days. It should not take you a couple of weeks. It should not take you a couple of months to edit your novel. And that is for one very specific reason: continuity. When you start editing your novel, if you can do it very quickly and just go through the entire process, you are going to remember the small details. You're going to remember all of the things that you need to add in and to change. You're going to remember the little lines that people said or the little things that they did that you can then implement throughout the course of the story, that when you are writing your book, especially if you take more than a month or two to write your book, you're going to forget a lot of those small details. So editing needs to be in a very condensed period of time, literally just a couple of days. 1 to 2 days is best. If you need to do it in 3 or 4 days, that's okay if you're a slower reader, but you want to make sure it is as packed in as possible and free of distraction as possible. So take a weekend, take your day off to do this, but don't do it over the course of a long period of time, because you will not remember the beginning by the time you get to the end. The small details will go out of your head and you are going to miss the plot holes, and you're going to miss the little threads that you could have woven in. You're going to miss a lot of things if you spread that out. So you want to make sure you're dedicating a couple of hours at a time to be going through and editing this, so that you are staying in that mindset and you're remembering all these little things, so that it's easier for you to edit, check the continuity of the content that you've already created, and weave in those things that you maybe peppered in at the beginning but didn't remember at the end, or you kind of accumulated over time. You need to go back and edit into the beginning. When you do it in a condensed period of time, you have fresher, sharper eyes on this. Your mind is more in tune with it. But if you're taking forever to do it, days upon weeks upon months, it is the equivalent of taking forever to write your book and missing a bunch of things as you go. In that case, you're going to need to pay a developmental editor. You're going to need to pay more people to go through and proofread and line edit and all of those things. It's a lot more of a process. And that doesn't mean that you can't. If you are somebody who's very slow with this, that's okay. It just means you're going to have to pay more of a team to be on your side to get it ready for publication or for submission or whatever it happens to be that you're doing with this novel. The closer you can do it in proximity to each other, the better it's going to be. So for me, when I'm writing a novel, I will get through my entire novel, which I write very quickly, and then I'll take 1 day off. I will take 1 day where I am not looking at it. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to read it. I don't want to be anywhere near it, so that I can refresh my brain, clear out everything that I just did, so that I'm coming into it with newer, clearer eyes. And I go through my entire novel in 1 to 2 days. If I'm super busy, it's 2 days, but usually it's 1 day. And I make sure I get everything in there and I'm ready to go. And this is for the developmental side of things. If I want to clean up the line edit side of things, so my grammar, my punctuation, typos and things like that, I still do it in this edit, but I will then set it aside for as long as I possibly can put it off. A week, 2 weeks, a month, some things are even up to a year, and I can go through and then I can self-edit and catch my own grammar mistakes because I'm not so close to it that I'm blinded to the little silly things. So for developmental editors, or for developmental editing, and for making sure your plot and your structure is all good and you've woven in all the things that are incredibly important, that needs to be a very tight editing time for you, as quickly as possible. Again, take your weekend off. Take your whatever time frame you have where you have multiple hours to work on this and do that instead of doing the other things that are fun. Giving up 1 day is going to allow you way more benefits when it comes to your novel, if at all possible. If that's something that you can figure out how to do, that's what you should be doing, because that's going to work to your benefit. And not everybody has a situation that allows that. Not everybody's going to be in a time frame or a period of your life where you can do that, and that's okay. But you have to understand that more things are going to come through when you are spacing it out than if you had done this closer, and you are going to have to bring in more people to help you clean it up on the back end. So whatever is going to work best for you, and again, there's going to be outliers, but for most of you, the vast majority of you, you should be editing as quickly and as tightly as possible so that you're not missing those silly little things. Get the fresh, clear eyes and the clear mind going into it. Do your editing as quickly as possible, and then set it aside and go back and do another round a week from now or 2 weeks from now, so that you can catch all the grammar, the spelling, the stuff that you didn't catch while you were busy doing everything else very quickly. And remember, we always rely on our team. You must use a professional editor. Proofreaders are fantastically helpful. Dev editors and line editors, very, very helpful human beings. And before it goes to publication, you have to use them. You can't use your mom, you can't use your English teacher friend, you can't use your sister, you gotta use a professional. It is absolutely mandatory because the people in your life, unless they are professionally trained as book editors, they don't know all the things that change and all the stuff. We've had the conversations before. But you have to make sure you use that before you publish. And if you want to level yourself up for submission with an agent or with a publisher, you have the option, not mandatory, but the option of working with these people in advance. I do recommend developmental editors before submission if you are a new author who has published less than several books, just to make sure you are tip top of your game if you're going to be submitting it to a publisher or to an agent, to make sure you're getting the most money out of it, or you have the best chance possible of getting taken on. Because if your book is kind of messy, but a developmental editor can help you fix it up, then you're more likely to be taken on by an agent. And if an agent just sees your mess, they might not also see your success. We want to make sure they do see those things. So drop your questions down below. We can talk more about editing and how you can do it quickly. There's actually different strategies and structures and tools and techniques and all of those things to help you edit your books a little more efficiently and effectively and strongly and in a way that's going to be more profitable for you. So we can talk about those things, and we've talked about those things on many of our live streams. So drop your questions and we'll see you in the upcoming episodes as we continue to help you navigate the world of your publishing, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable and successful author year ever.